Everyone, welcome to Saturday Night Popcorn. This is Jason.
And this is Kai, and we have another great discussion for you today. The movie of the day is The Invitation. There are two movies that came out somewhat recently called The Invitation. This one that we're talking about today is from 2022, not The Invitation that came out in 2015. So,
Okay,
just
I
giving you
hope
a heads up there and a spoiler warning as well, because it's a somewhat newer movie.
I hope I watched the right one. But yeah, 2022. Jessica M. Thompson is the director of The Invitation, and it's on Netflix. And I think it was made by Netflix or something, or like actually done by Netflix.
I don't know, because it was in theaters for a bit.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But
but Netflix did that with the Glass Onion though. They put it in theaters first, and then they released it on their
yeah, that's
streaming
true,
service.
right? So maybe that was like their first like testing of it, like with the invitation, like,
Yeah.
and then put it out and stuff. But yeah, what do you think about this movie? Like, should we say like the overall theme of the month? Like, since we choose sort of like a theme for the month of the movies that we watch.
Yeah.
But,
We chose this month. We chose strong female leads.
hmm
Uh, yeah, and this I think this stayed true to that.
I
It,
think
it
so. Yeah,
it seemed like it took some time to kind of build into that, but once it hit, it was pretty good.
yeah. Like even my girlfriend next to me, Patty, she was like, "It's this is kind of like a slow story,
Hmm.
slow build up to it." Um,
It I don't know if you saw Ready or Not, but this came out. I think Ready or Not came out in 2020, and then this came out in 2022. But when I watched the trailer for The Invitation last year when it came out, I was like, this feels just like the look and the feel of the movie instantly reminded me of Ready or Not. And then how things play out was very
yeah,
Ready or
okay.
Not like, yeah.
But Ready or Not is like hide and seek, right?
Yeah,
Like
Ready or Not's
style
hide and
movie.
seek.
Okay.
Hmm.
So
And that was,
the whole thing about this is that they're vampires, right?
yeah.
Okay. I initially got it from Pat, like where Patty, we started watching the movie and I was like, oh, like I'm assuming these are vampires, but when you met like the Walt character,
Hmm.
I was like, why is he outside? Like, what's going on? And then she was like, what are you talking about? Like, is this like vampires? I was like, yeah. Like, I think with the intro, with the title scene, like the eye was like a spike,
Yeah.
and so I was like, maybe that means vampires. I had no clue actually. But yeah, but they can be outside in the sun
Yeah. And they
and
even
not burn
mentioned
up
that
and
too,
die.
which was
Yeah,
weird.
like they kind of said there was like oh common misconceptions
Yeah.
of vampires at that moment and stuff.
I
But
think when, how do I put this? When I started it, I instantly got a. It's already said Ready or Not, but I also got like a Get Out vibe because of the the relationship between the two friends. But it's
yeah,
like Get
right.
Out with vampires.
That I kind of got the same. It's the same tone too, where
Yeah,
it's like these crazy white people, kind of like inviting
yeah.
this black person
That they've never
into
met.
like this, like yeah, they've never met. Again, it kind of begs the question. I in Get Out, the guy was in a relationship with the girl that
Yeah.
invited him to like the party. This
Well, so
one,
was the
I
lady
think
in
this
this.
one
She was
begs
in
the
a
question like
relationship.
I don't know. But I was like, this one begs the question, like, why say yes to like an international flight
Yeah.
and a big old wedding to a person you just met
To
the
your
moment
family.
family, yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was like, that. I think most normal people, I don't know, like normal is the correct term, but most people probably won't say yes
Yeah,
unless
they'd
you're
be
like probably
skeptical.
yeah, you would be like, all right, like you'd be like the friend that
Hmm.
says you're gonna get murdered,
Yes,
something's gonna happen, do not trust anybody, and
exactly.
but I guess like that is that like one of the powers of the vampire that they can like
Well,
convince
isn't
you
that a
into
vampire
anything.
power? Like you can lure people or whatever?
That's what I thought too, and it goes back to the question that I had with It Follows. It's like it must be difficult, or like a comment. It must be
Hmm.
difficult to show the powers of your monster
Yeah.
to the audience, like trying to like show like like as the Walt character, the main vampire is convincing this girl to marry him. Like, is that a power that he has, and is it because he's so old that he can convince anybody because like he's has so
Has
much
to.
history and experience and stuff and a lot of old money,
He has
so
the
to
gift of
speak?
gab.
Yeah, I guess so, right?
There was a there was a moment in the movie. It wasn't part of the movie. There when she's in the bed and that other female vampire is like trying to scare her or murder her or whatever,
uh
but you see her up on top of the bed. I had my laptop open, like so I was watching it on my TV, but I was distracted like all of us are. So I had my laptop open and I was on YouTube for some reason, and like it's a quiet moment in the movie, and I like zone out and I accidentally press the space bar, and the video turns on, but it's like silent on the TV, but it's a person talking on my laptop, and I start dying laughing because the person on the laptop is screaming, and I look up at the movie like nothing's happening. What the hell? So yeah, that was I had a little bit of extra.
There you go. But all right, let's kind of think about like what do we like most about this movie?
I put the spa scene. I really enjoyed like that simplicity and anxious building within that spa scene. Like they'll
Yeah,
cut.
that scene was very tense
Mm-hmm. I really
because
enjoyed that.
yeah, you had like the double sided where like the nice vampire,
Yeah,
the one that was kind of being too nice, it seemed like, and then the other vampire that's like a complete
didn't care.
opposite of it,
Yeah,
and just like was like whatever and stuff, and just like being mean and everything, and then you're also trying to figure out like I think part of the whole story is like you're trying to figure out because initially the maids I thought they were part of like the whole scheme,
I thought so
but then
too.
they weren't.
Yeah,
And then so in the spa scene, you're like, do they know what's going on? Because there's like this whole town scene that like they know what's going on. So it's like that kind of got confusing. But yeah, I think that spa scene was like a really good kind of tension builder.
yeah, because there wasn't like throughout the whole movie there weren't many things that stood out. Like it was a decent enough movie, but there wasn't like a scene other than like the spa scene that was like, oh, I remember that part. Like that really stood out with me, at least to me as I watched it.
Yeah, nothing was really scary. Like when they went down to go get the wine, I think that was probably like their biggest like we're gonna try to like scare people.
Yeah, maybe the
Or
library scene too.
actually the library. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that's probably like that was a better setup and everything because you kind of didn't know what was going on and you
Hmm.
also didn't know who was who. And so
Yeah.
you're like, well, like are they like housing this like monster inside of this big mansion? And I think yeah, I think that library scene was a much better made scene. Um, because like the candle thing that was pretty cool, where it's like
I
she's
did like
lighting
the
the
candle thing.
candle, and
Yeah.
also the opposite effect of like she's wearing headphones and stuff, and like she's
Hmm.
blaring music. So m- like right now, like we're probably in our
Yeah.
homes right now, and we have no clue what the hell's going on around us.
There's a door opens behind you, and it's like, oh
Yeah,
shoot,
Patty
I'm
could
just
be a
pointing at the
vampire right
camera.
now, and
um, Dang it, there was something. Oh, how was that place so dark?
oh,
Because like,
inside.
yeah, like the opening scene, they show all well when the lady killed herself, but they show all these lights up the staircase. Yeah, there's so many lights in that house, but throughout the whole movie, it's just I guess they were trying to give that feeling, but I'm
They're
thinking it's
vampires.
2021. It's a castle, but I'm gonna add some more light to this castle because castles are creepy as hell.
Yeah, because you also see it like when she's like introduced to the castle, like when she walks in, she sees that big statue
Hmm.
of like the dragon or whatever, like, and you could tell it's dark. It's
Yeah,
like there's a lot of black, kind of like, and
yeah,
then there's like a lot of like dark tones to it. And yeah, when you like take off all the lights and stuff, then it makes it even worse. But that's the vampire aesthetic, I
yes.
think.
They just need that. We need
It's funny.
complete
It's funny.
darkness.
they made the comment of like, oh, there's like common misconceptions of
Yeah,
vampires, like, oh, they can go outside and stuff in this movie, but like every vampire trope is inside of this,
yeah.
where it's like they're all,
They put her in a coffin.
yeah, they put her in a coffin, they're all douchebags basically.
Yeah.
And they're strong, they
Hmm.
can transform basically.
Their hands
Uh
changed,
yeah, their
which was
hands
kind of
change.
cool. That I had never seen before. That was pretty cool.
Where there was like a clear distinction, like, oh, they're like a
Yeah, like
vampire
now
and
they're a
stuff.
vampire. Yeah, because normally it's just the
Yeah, that's true.
teeth. You see them, their teeth turn to fangs, but now they
Yeah,
show like the claws, which was like, oh, okay. I
true. Yeah, I don't know. Anything else you liked?
think that was it.
It was difficult for me to find things that I liked. It's a decent movie. It's like it's
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah,
It's not like
exactly.
anything like horribly bad. Um
Like it's something you can put on a Saturday or Friday night and be like, okay, cool. I enjoyed it.
yeah, I think so. But nothing stood out
Yeah.
where like there's that tension where you're trying to figure out who's who, because I think also maybe it's like me trying to understand like what's the whole game in this situation, because like
Hmm.
when, because immediately Patty reacted, because remember that scene where like they're at like that outdoor party, and
Hmm.
then the main character meets like the bridesmaids,
Yeah.
and she was like, oh, like how do you know Cecile or whatever, Cece,
Hmm.
and they like kind of were like, what, like who are you talking about? Patty was immediately like, well, this is not, like that person is not real. And so then it was like, all right, like then you kind of like start to figure out like, oh, they're trying to set up this like wedding to
Hmm.
like lure
Her.
this person
Yeah.
to wed the Walt character.
To be the
Um,
next.
yeah, but then you're also trying to question like, all right, like he says he needs like three wives
Yeah.
to, I don't know what that meant and everything. And then also like, do they need to come from the families? Because like I'm
Which
assuming she is related to that Alexander family.
has to be.
Yeah, so do they need to come from that family? Because the old
It has to be
guy,
that. I think it has to be that same like bloodline lineage thing to keep it strong.
I guess so, right? Because
Yeah.
like when she's like meeting her like extended family in that like time, the old guy said like, "Oh, it's great that we found that there's another woman in the family."
Hmm.
And he was like, "I thought we're all doomed." So like, what happens? Like, if they like ran out of women, like,
They just
like they just like kill them off and stuff, and
they just
like,
start grabbing randos.
yeah, but and I'm guessing that's the whole game, right? Like, you just like this family produces the next wife for the
Hmm.
individual, and the initial vampire that you see. So Patty was like, "Oh, I think she like starved herself." So she was a
Mm.
vampire,
Yeah.
but I think she starved herself till she was able to kill herself.
Oof.
And it, and to be honest, it kind of goes to like my negative.
Hmm.
Um, I really don't care about the vampire stuff.
Yeah.
Patty loves it, and a lot of people do, and everything. But I rather watch like stuff with zombies or like a
Yeah.
mummy or like other stuff.
A slasher.
Yeah, or a slasher and stuff. So it's like the whole, like, I would need more backstory as to like, all right, like
Yeah.
where did these guys come
Like
from?
the
Like
actual
why?
lineage of the family.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and why do they need three?
Three
Yeah, I don't know. So
wives.
there's like a lot of questions with that and everything, and so
That's actually in my dislikes. Like I said, the movie kind of got I got a little corny once they actually revealed that they were vampires.
yeah, it got like to like the extreme where like now
Yeah.
they're like, oh, like now they're all out and they're all like
Yeah.
the we're
Showing their
gonna trap
fangs,
you
drinking
here and
blood, slit the lady's
everything.
throat at the dinner table. You're just like, okay.
I
Because like
I
leading
think
leading up to it, like them just showing like, oh, there's something lurking and it's grabbing people and killing them. That was cool. But once they were like, oh yeah, we're all vampires, it's like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
yeah, and also like the Victoria, the tall vampire, the one that was mean,
Yeah.
like it kind of like that's a tip, like you kind of like I kind of wrote in my note that like they telegraphed a lot of stuff, because
Hmm.
like remember when the main character like drops that thing inside of her room and it breaks, and they
Yep.
really highlight that it broke open to like this spike thing.
Hmm.
Patty was like, "Oh, that's gonna come into play
Come
like at
back.
the end of the movie,"
Yeah.
and they telegraphed a lot of things because then when you meet the two other vampires at that party scene, you're like, these people are weird and they like are
Yeah.
hiding something, and so it seemed like they were like telegraphing a lot of things because they needed to show you that like, oh,
Hmm.
these are the vampires and
Well,
stuff.
even the spa scene, like when she cut her finger and there was blood, and Victoria like
Yeah,
licked her finger. It's like, oh,
and like
vampires.
everyone like
Okay. I'll help
yeah,
you.
so it would have been nice if like there was like a really old vampire like hanging around, because I've seen like vampire, like I think Underworld was like that. There's like other
Yeah.
vampire movies where like there's like this old vampire, and like he's the one that's like lurking around the house or
Do you know
something.
how
Like
old you have to be an old vampire though?
right? Like
Well, even what we do in the shadows, they have an old vampire.
yeah, the guy that
Yeah,
yeah.
want to keep it in the basement or something.
Yeah, and they have like this whole council and stuff. I
Yeah.
feel like that, but granted, like that's like an episodic show, so you can kind of like build up more of
No,
like
but they have a
the
movie
whole
too.
like.
They started with a movie.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah,
I still haven't seen that movie,
that's
but
cool.
that goes to show you, it's like I really don't like vampires are like the lowest rung of like
Yeah.
the monster I would watch and stuff, and I can really care less about them. Um, but then also like some of the decisions. At first, I think the actress that played the main character.
Hmm.
At first, I was like, I wasn't too sure about her acting. I was like, I don't know if she like doesn't know what the hell she's doing
Hmm.
in terms of like how she's trying to play it. Like
Gotcha.
what like is she?
Happy go lucky? Is she serious?
Yeah, I was like, but then once she kind of like flipped the script and she was like that, the one that needs to like ruin this whole like
Yeah.
like operation. Then she kind of like I was like, all right,
Yeah.
cool. But I saw that she's from the Fast and Furious,
Hmm.
and she's also the one of the characters from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So I wonder if like action is probably better for her, like once it kind of flips that script. Um, I don't know. I was like really questioning her acting at the first sense, but I think everyone's acting like the Walt guy. He played this
Oh,
brooding, like it was like the traditional
older
oh, the guy
vampire
that yeah, like
with all the
the
money.
guy's just super rich and he's just
Yeah.
trying to find like his wife and stuff. So like everyone played traditional, like
Hmm.
the mean butler and everything, which is funny because like I don't know if you've seen the TV show Gotham, but
No.
the guy that plays the mean butler in this movie
Hmm.
is Alfred in Gotham. So
Oh man, that's
he's
crazy.
always a butler.
Just typecast.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it's sort of my thinking. It's like it was there's a lot of questions and stuff,
Yeah.
and it was very generic story that was telegraphed a lot, and once you kind of got the ball rolling, you kind of could predict everything pretty
Yeah.
much after that. You can pretty much just watch till the very beginning or till the very like time where she like decides to like drink his blood. You like
Hmm.
predict everything else. Other than
Basically.
like if it was like a true Get Out story, you're waiting for like the friend to show up and save him
I
and
was
stuff.
waiting for that actually. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, is a friend gonna show up and help this lady? The one thing that's still hilarious to me is the fact that she only had to fight like 3 people in order to escape.
Right?
Like
That's
the
there
whole
was like
house full of
40,000
vampires.
people
Yes.
inside that house.
She fought 3 people and she was like, okay, cool, I'm getting on the plane and going home.
Right?
I was just like, this is some garbage. 3 people.
Yeah.
And one was the butler.
The butler. And he was like
Come on.
Patty was like, why is he so strong? Like she's a vampire.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know what kind of comes out to you as like the main negatives.
Those two, like it felt
Those
corny
two.
once they like revealed it. Once they revealed everyone was a vampire, that was, and then the fact that she only had to fight 3 people at the climax of the movie. You're in a house full of zombies. I mean, full of vampires. Yeah, I went to zombies. Full of vampires, and you only had to fight 3 of them.
I'm assuming they're not all vampires. Did you assume that they're all vampires? That's
Yeah,
the thing. Where it's
because they
like,
slit that lady. I'm thinking because at the dinner table, like they slit that lady's throat, all her blood is gushing into that large bowl, and it seemed like everybody at the table was drinking it. Like that probably wasn't
well,
everybody that was at the party, but a good majority it seemed like was at the table.
well, isn't like one of the things that like vampires like can't eat real food? So
Did
like
they
the
have
rest
real
of them
food?
were like all eating.
Oh,
So I think they're
okay.
normal
Yeah, I
people.
guess I might have. Yeah, I might have missed that
Yeah,
part.
that's the thing where it's like nothing's like really clear.
Right.
Like why these three separate families and I don't know what's going on and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, then like the three vampires, is that all of them? Like,
Yeah.
is that, like, does she like kill all vampires for the whole world?
You slit that old guy's throat. This lady got
Yeah.
stabbed in the chest. Like, we're done.
Yeah.
No more vampires ever again. Like, come on.
Yeah, the two vampires just killed themselves,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. More questions than anything.
Now, would you? We typically ask the question,
Mhm.
would we buy this for our personal movie collection? I would also ask you the question, would you recommend this movie for someone?
Um, my answer is going to be the same for both. I would recommend Ready or Not, and I would buy Ready or Not, not this. Yeah.
Okay, well now I gotta watch Ready or Not.
Yeah. I truly enjoyed Ready or Not.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy this movie at all. I wouldn't recommend this movie either.
Yeah.
Like, granted, it's very hard to not recommend it because it's like it's free on Netflix. Like, I'm
Yeah.
assuming everyone has Netflix, so you have access to watch it. But do you really want to take the time out of your day to watch it? I don't think so.
There's so many other
Um,
movies.
yeah, yeah. Even Patty was like, she loves vampire stuff, and the big thing at the end, she was like, I want a vampire movie that the woman is like the main vampire,
Isn't
and
that
like
Queen of
is
the
the one
Damned?
because yeah, that's what came to my mind. But
Yeah.
also that wasn't very a good movie. It was
Okay.
like I think Aaliyah, like yeah, that was the whole thing.
Hmm.
But yeah, we don't see it too often anymore, or you don't see it
No,
at
you don't hear
all.
about
Where
it at
it's like,
all. Yeah.
yeah, so it's like it would be nice for like the Dracula
Oh,
is a
well, what
woman
about that Charlize Theron movie that came out on Netflix a couple years ago?
monster.
No. I'll have to find the name. I can't remember the name off the top of my head, but it was. She has like a team with her. She's like a special forces, but I think she's a vampire. That was a good
I
one.
don't
I don't know if you
remember.
guys have already seen it.
No,
Let's see if I can find it.
but yeah, I feel like they need to like change the script on a lot of like these vampire things. Like they got to do something new and everything. I This was
Yeah.
not a new kind of take on vampires and stuff, even though like the traditional story is there, but you can kind of do some other things with it and stuff. I think, and this was kind of like a generic way of doing it.
Yeah. It seems like they referenced like, oh, I like this movie and I like this movie, and they took those references and were like, oh, we'll make a hodgepodge of a movie and we'll put it out, and
Yeah,
that's what we got. The name of the movie I was talking about is The Old Guard.
the old guard.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
I'll watch a trailer.
Yeah, check out the trailer. It was good. It was good.
Yeah, but all
What
right.
so?
Well,
Yeah,
what'd
would
you
you
end
end
up
up
giving
rating
it?
it?
I gave it a 1.5.
Wow. Okay, I
Yeah,
thought I was being. I think I went into it thinking, man, I was harsh for It Follows, so let me give this a little bump. But I gave it a 2.5, but I really was pushing for a 2, and
I was
even
like, I
that
was like,
was yeah.
I was on the fence with it too because honestly, the end of the movie, what is that supposed to tell us? Like, are they
Yeah,
gonna like be vampire hunters and stuff, or like basically they're killing normal
I
people from
forgot
if
about.
I
I blocked that part out of my memory. I forgot that they did that stupid crap.
yeah, the
Yeah,
ending was
no,
horrible, and I
that's
was
a one
like
and a
on
half.
a fence with the two. So I was like,
Oh
once I saw the
wow.
ending, I was like, no, 1.5.
Yeah, that's a 1.5. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I,
it.
I think it was so bad that I just forgot that part of the movie. But they really showed these two women. Only one of them was a vampire, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna go hunt vampire." Yeah, that's a 1.5.
Yeah,
It's so
it was
bad.
They could have just ended it
Yeah,
where they like why go to that like 2 weeks later and
yeah.
stuff, like I
She
don't
got
know.
home. She's safe. She's a vampire now. It's all good.
Unless Netflix is like, we got to try to set up a second movie and like
Oof.
here, just like put this out there and stuff. And
No, 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 no,
yeah,
no.
I don't know. I feel like everyone is trying to always like set up other movies and stuff,
Yeah.
and I think you can make your one movie and be done with
Yes.
it.
Sequels are not always the right thing to do.
No, no,
We're cool
but
with one. Give us one. We're good. Keep it moving. Yeah. Yeah. Wow, I forgot about the ending. Goodness.
yeah, yeah. That's why again I would reiterate that I would not recommend this movie. I don't know
Yeah.
what other movie to watch. There's other things on Netflix to watch, and
The two or three
this is
movies
not
we
one of
just
them.
recommended. The Old Guard, Ready
The
or
Old
Not.
Guard and Ready or
There's
Not.
one with Debbie Ryan that has vampires too. Fang or Tooth or so. I'll have to look up that name too, but
Or
that
even
was
What We
better
Do in
than
the
this.
Shadows.
Yeah, or that. Yeah. That's probably the best out of
Yep.
all the ones on that list. And you'll get to laugh.
Yeah, right. All right, Kai, you want to take us out?
Yeah. Thanks again. Thanks for joining us for another episode of Saturday Night Popcorn. I'm Kai.
And I'm Jason. I'll be back next week for another one.